And are still with us, and joining us now from Capitol Hill, the co-chairs of No Labels, Democratic Senator from West Virginia, Senator Manchin, and former Republican Governor of Utah, Jon Huntsman. The organization is out with the new e-book this morning, No Labels, a shared vision for a stronger America. All right, let's get to the task at hand. Jon Huntsman.
Guys, you're here to talk about the No Labels agenda, and I see big bullet points here on you guys are pressing for. One is create 25 million jobs in 10 years. Another is make Medicare and Social Security secure for another 75 years. The third is balance the federal budget by 2030. And the fourth is to make America energy self-sufficient by 2035. Those are all laudable goals. It's hard to imagine that there are very many Americans of either party that would disagree with them. I'm curious about what none of those things are currently our state of play. What are the biggest obstacles to making those things actually happen, and what's the political strategy? Because it seems to me that substantively those are all broadly acceptable goals. How are you actually going to make this happen given all of the obstacles that we've seen to any of these things taking place previously?
Well, this book, John, is a reminder that this country can still do big things when we get our act together. And today, we simply don't have our act together with such a dysfunctional Congress. So if you go to nolabels.org, you can access the book. And it basically lays out some arguments that members of Congress are putting forward, that even former chiefs of staff, Republicans and Democrats, have put forward, that this country is able to do big things, bold things, courageous things when we do get our act together. So we're laying out this political strategy in about 5 different phases. The first phase would basically be getting this book out, getting our Problem Solvers Caucus on Capitol Hill under No Labels, which numbers now 90 strong, to begin sorting through the big issues of the day. Now, why are they the big issues of the day? They're big issues of the day because if we fail at those, we lose our competitive position in the 21st century. And there are all those, John, that you just talked about. And then we get into phase 2, which basically will be bringing in a lot of stakeholders, including state and local government, who will gather around the No Labels banner this summer, first time ever, business community members and others, and then to infuse some specifics in terms of how we get from point A to point B into the 2016 election cycle.
Mark McKinnon.
You know,
I wanted to jump in or no?
Go ahead, Senator.
Only thing, Mark, I just wanted to say that basically we're talking about a vision shared. If we don't have a shared vision as Americans, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, whether you're from labor or you're from business, in West Virginia, a previous governor had put a group together we called a shared vision. I energized that when I was governor, and we came together, labor and business, Democrats and Republicans, of where the state of West Virginia could go and should go and how we would get there. We didn't always agree, but basically we agreed that this is where we should be. And if we're looking at it, No Labels is the only venue we have bringing people together right now, saying, is the American dream still alive? Is it attainable? And if that's the case, then why don't we come together as Americans, and the best politics is good government, make something good happen, but get something that we can attain. That's what we're trying to do.
Well, we've been dysfunctional for so long that forget that we're not even doing the simple, obvious things. And the obvious thing is to have some shared goals.
Right.
Governor Huntsman has lived in 4 countries. 3 of those countries have a national strategic agenda. Only 1 doesn't. That's the United States of America. Included in the book, we have chapters from James Baker, Alice Rivlin, Mac McClarty, Glenn Hubbard, a very bipartisan group, talking about how when they were in their administrations, how they established goals like a balanced budget with Clinton, like tax reform with President Reagan, NAFTA with Clinton. Once you establish a destination, you can figure out how you get there. But right now, it's like the compass is just rolling around.
Well, okay, so how do you cut through that? Because everything that Governor Huntsman, Senator Manchin has just said, everything you've just said, makes perfect sense. I don't know who would disagree with we've got to work together. But
you've got to have 2 things to succeed, and I certainly found this out as governor. I'm sure that Joe did too. You have to have a vision. You've got to have ideas, and then you've got to break those ideas down to specific components that are actually implementable. And then second, you've got to have an implementation vehicle, which is caucus on Capitol Hill that can actually get it done. And where No Labels is absolutely extraordinary is we're putting forward this vision, this master plan of the big issues that we must get right for sake of 21st century competitiveness. And we couple that with the implementation mechanism called our Problem Solvers Caucus on Capitol Hill. This has never been done before. I mean, we've always had presidents stand up and say that they want to be uniters and not dividers without telling us how they're going to get it done. This is a how we get it done part that I think is so important for the American American people.
Senator Manchin, I know since you arrived in Washington after having been a chief executive of a state and getting used to getting things done actually on a daily basis, you're not alone in this, but you were sort of surprised at the lack of progress and the lack of the ability of Congress to get things done in a quick, smart way. So what gives you hope that this sort of partisan brand of politics can be shed and that the no labels ethos will be adopted by Washington when it seems like, anyway, from the outside, things are moving in the other direction?
Well, not just from the politicians or the political leaders that we have in Washington that have been unable to get together. If we had corporate titans, if we had corporate leaders, if we had small businesses, if we had labor leaders, small and large, get together and say, we want corporate tax reform. If we can't come to an agreement here, but no labels is bringing a group together that says, okay, labor's going to benefit. We got more jobs coming back to America. We're all going to benefit. Corporate America is going to benefit by having a good workforce and a stable country. Then we can all move forward. Maybe the form of no labels can bring that group together. We can't seem to do it in the halls of Congress, but a forum like No Labels and Problem Solvers that's willing to say, we'll cross over and basically look at the end result. The end result is better, more jobs and better jobs for Americans. If that can be done, then why shouldn't we have a more competitive corporate tax rate that's fair, closes loopholes? We can't seem to get past the gridlock up on the Hill here, but we can. Basically, in the halls of all of America, people want jobs. They want something done. And I've talked to corporate leaders and I've talked to labor leaders who are willing to sit down and work through this. We give them that forum.
All right, so the new e-book, which maybe every member of Congress should get a copy of, is No Labels, A Shared Vision for a Stronger America. Senator Jon Manchin, good to see you. Good luck with the water emergency in your state.
Thank you.
Also, former Governor Jon Huntsman, thank you. Great to see you as well.
Rika.
Mark McKinnon, always great to have you on the show with your interesting outfits. You can check out our extended green room interview with Mark by clicking on the Afternoon Mojo section of our website.